Welcome to Earth Rivers and Ironbark. We are diving deep today into one of Australia's most exciting new adventure cycling routes. It's called the ERI Loop up in northern Victoria. And it's this huge 400-kilometer behemoth, but it's being pitched as an accessible adventure. We've got all the planning docs, the maps, the data, and we're going to figure out how they pull that off.
Well, what's really fascinating is just how intentional the whole design is. The ERI, it's a loop that's bounded by three major rivers, the Campaspe, Goulburn, and Murray. And the whole philosophy behind it is this idea of helping riders get grounded.
Get grounded.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
I mean, they've actively gone out of their way to find the quietest earth and gravel tracks, the best river routes, these massive forest reserves, deliberately avoiding traffic wherever they possibly can.
So this isn't just for the ultra-endurance athlete then?
No, not at all. It's really aimed at that beginner to intermediate rider, maybe mixed social groups.
Right, and it's mostly flat, the towns are well-spaced, and the train access is surprisingly good.
It is.
And for those of you following along right now, what you're seeing is a ride-through slideshow. There are over 400 images here, giving you a real feel for the route as we talk you through it, starting clockwise from Echuca.
Yeah, and that flexibility is a huge part of the design. You can do the full loop, which is, what, 365 kilometers if you go via Rushworth, or a bit longer, 393 via Nagambie.
Or you can just break it down into smaller bits.
Exactly. I mean, sources say an expert might smash it out in 3 or 4 days, but they really stress that the goal is the best time, not the fastest time.
Right. So take your time, enjoy it.
Yeah, a family or a beginner group could easily stretch this out over, say, 10 days and have a fantastic trip.
Okay, let's unpack those stages, because that's really fundamental to planning, isn't it? The ERI is basically 3 big legs.
That's right.
Stage 1 gets you from Echuca down to Murchison. That's about 139 kilometers. And then stage 3 is the big ride home, 152 Ks from Heathcote back up to Echuca.
And that leaves stage 2, the middle leg.
Yeah.
And this is where you have a really critical choice to make.
This is the choose-your-own-adventure part.
It is. You've got stage 2A through Nagambie, which is a bit longer at 102 kilometers, or the shorter, more remote stage 2B through Rushworth, which is only 74 Ks.
And picking one over the other really changes the ride, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's the breakdown?
It absolutely does. So stage 2A, the Nagambie option, that's your convenience route. It's got more sealed road. It goes through farmland.
And more services, I'm guessing.
Way more. Commercial accommodation, pubs, motels, and the huge advantage of a train station right there in Nagambie. If you need a resupply or an easy exit, 2A is the logical pick.
So if 2A is convenience, 2B has to be about the immersion.
Precisely. Stage 2B through Rushworth is all about that get grounded idea. It's much more gravel, much more natural bushland. You actually ride straight through the world's largest ironbark forest. It's a really unique experience.
Wow.
And not only is the riding more remote, but that forest gives you fantastic wind protection compared to the open farmland. Plus, way better options for free camping.
So it demands a bit more self-sufficiency, but the payoff is bigger.
Exactly.
And that brings us to their big slogan, dirt is the new gravel. This isn't just marketing, is it?
No, it defines the ride. We're talking about 100 kilometers, so over a quarter of the whole route being pure earthen tracks, silt, clay. It's very different from your typical gravel grinder course.
And that's backed up by the traffic data. Only 3 to 4% of the entire loop is classified as a busy sealed road. That's incredible for a route connecting so many towns.
It really is. It shows how committed they are to that sense of seclusion.
Now, if we connect that focus on quiet services to the bigger picture, it takes us to what might be the ERI's biggest advantage for anyone traveling to the region, that they call the longer ride window.
That's right. We've seen the climatic data, and it compares the ERI region against 5 other big cycling destinations in Southeast Australia. Think Melbourne, the high country, even parts of SA.
And the ERI consistently comes out on top.
It does. It offers demonstrably better riding conditions for a much longer chunk of the year.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting if you're planning a trip. The data is specific. The ERI region has fewer rain days between October and April.
And the highest number of clear days, right through from December to May.
And low humidity to go with it.
Yes, especially from November to March. And that makes such a difference. It stops that really oppressive, sticky heat that just drains your energy.
Plus the wind. You can't ignore the wind on the plains. A headwind can just ruin a day.
Oh, absolutely. And the data shows this area has less average wind speed than other inland plains regions. It's a huge factor for reducing fatigue.
So when you crunch all that data, what's the verdict? When's the best time to go?
Well, the prime season for the full loop is definitely March and April. You get moderating temps, low rain, just perfect autumn riding.
Or the backup option.
The secondary season is October to December. You get longer daylight hours, and the conditions are generally fantastic.
But you can also plan your trip around what you want to see, can't you? Like
Wow.
if you go in September, you get those amazing bright yellow canola fields on stage 3.
And that's also peak wildflower season in the ironbark forest on stage 2B. It would be spectacular.
And autumn, March to May, isn't just good for the weather. You get the grape harvest, the changing colors of all the vine leaves through the wine regions.
And you can even tie it into local events, the Heathcote Wine and Food Festival in October, or the Echuca Riverboats Music Festival in February. You can build a whole holiday around it.
Which brings us to logistics. Because for it to be an accessible adventure, you have to be able to get there and get around easily.
And the train access is the key. It's exceptional. There are 14 stations on or near the loop. 6 are directly on it. Echuca, Shepperton, Mooroopna, Murchison East, Nagambie, and Rochester.
6 stations right on the loop, so you can easily skip a section or start and finish wherever you want.
Absolutely. And they even provide GPX files to get you onto the loop from 8 other nearby stations, like Bendigo or Seymour. They've really thought it through.
So let's do a quick run through of the highlights. Stage 1, Echuca to Murchison. Where does that take you?
It kicks off right in the historic port of Echuca, which is just amazing with all the old paddle steamers.
A must-see for sure.
And then once you're out of town, you're on these long, quiet river tracks through state and national parks. It's classic Aussie bushland, heaps of native birds and wildlife. You feel remote very quickly.
What about supplies on that leg?
Well, you've got the big towns, Echuca and Shepperton, but there's also a crucial little stop at Tulamba with a hotel, and then Murchison at the end has a bakery and a general store.
Okay, and the stage 2 options. Nagambie versus Rushworth.
Nagambie gives you that beautiful lakeside path and easy access to wineries. Rushworth is all about history and nature, the old gold rush town, and then that immense, quiet ironbark forest.
And stage 3, from Heathcote back to Echuca. That sounds like the hilliest part.
It is, but it's still mostly flat. It just runs alongside the Mount Camel Range, which is the heart of the Heathcote wine region. You get a few short, steep pinches, some up to 11%, but they're
Wow.
short. You can walk them if you need to, and the views are definitely worth it.
And that's where you see the painted silos, isn't it? At Colbinabin in Rochester.
That's right. They become these huge regional icons, great photo opportunities to break up the ride.
And accommodation along the way.
It's totally flexible. The towns have plenty of commercial options, motels, B&Bs. But because so much of the route is through public land, there are just heaps of great spots for free camping. It makes it a much more affordable tour.
It also connects to other big trails, right?
Yeah, it links directly to the O'Keefe Rail Trail and the Great Victorian Rail Trail. So you can use the ERI to build a much longer, multi-week epic if you want.
Okay, so we've covered the good stuff. The accessibility, the beauty, the logistics. Now we have to talk about the adventure part, the challenges.
Yes.
There are 3 main risks, but the key message is that they are completely manageable with good planning.
That's the trade-off, isn't it? The ride is physically pretty easy. It's flat. But because it's remote, you have to prepare like an expert, even if you ride like an intermediate.
So what's the first big challenge with that unique dirt surface?
The first one is the clay surface. That earthen track is fantastic when it's dry, but when it gets significant rain, that high clay content turns into this thick, sticky, unrideable mud. It will literally stop you in your tracks.
And the advice on how to handle that is pretty blunt.
It's mandatory. They say avoidance is mandatory if there's heavy rain forecast. You have to watch the weather and use the wet weather alternative routes they provide.
So there are dedicated bypasses.
Yes, GPX files that take you around the clay sections onto all-weather gravel roads. You just can't risk it. It would be a miserable, bike-destroying day.
Okay, challenge number 2 is specific to stage 1, floodplain risk.
That's right. Those beautiful river tracks along the Goulburn can get inundated, especially in spring, around October, November. It's due to water releases from Lake Eildon as part of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan.
So how do you as a rider know if it's flooded?
You absolutely must monitor the Goulburn river levels online. You check the gauges for Shepperton and McCoy's Bridge. And the rule is simple. If the river level is getting close to 6 meters, you use the wet weather alternative route. No arguments.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
And the third challenge really gets to the heart of the adventure, remoteness and self-sufficiency.
Yeah, stage 1 has a 98-kilometer stretch between Echuca and Shepperton with no shops on the route. Nothing. And you get mobile phone black spots in the forests and parks.
So what's the non-negotiable prep for that?
You have to carry enough food and water to survive overnight, just in case. And because of the black spots, carrying a personal locator beacon, a PLB, is very strongly recommended.
That's the device that sends your location to rescuers via satellite.
Yep, regardless of phone service. And for smaller issues, you should install the Emergency Plus app. Even with a weak signal, it can give emergency services your exact GPS coordinates.
The key takeaway then is that this is a low-effort, high-planning ride. You do the prep, and the risks become manageable.
That's it. You know your GPX files, you carry a PLB, you watch the river gauges, you do that, and the adventure becomes genuinely accessible.
And what about the little things you see in the photos? The gullies, the fallen trees?
That's what they call Type 2 fun. It's a challenge in the moment, but you feel great after. You just walk them if you need to. And remember, traffic is minimal. And even on the busiest bit of road, the B75, there's a good wide shoulder for safety.
So, to sum it all up,
Look, this is an authentic, really compelling ride on unsealed surfaces. It's supported by brilliant logistics, the trains, the towns, and that amazing climate advantage, the longer ride window. The physical challenge is low, but the planning has to be high.
so what does this all mean for you as you're sitting there thinking about this trip? The mission is actually pretty simple. Plan your stops, carry your supplies, download your GPX files, especially those wet weather ones, and just get ready to get grounded. For all those GPX files, the alternative routes, and all the detailed info we've talked about, the main hub is the website, nix-tracks.com.